Hello, it's Chad Walkerton from Higher Living. We're up to episode 46. It's the first one of 2025, and we're going all in like we have done for the last 2 years around predictions. If you saw what we last posted on episode 45, we can take you back for the past 12 months and you'll be able to see that our success rate was pretty damn good. We're able to predict what some of these trends were going to be that we saw over 2024, and you're going to be able to do this, and you're going to be able to see that again this year. That's what we're about. We want to be accountable. We also want you to be able to see some of our thinking, right? So we want you to be able to see, how are we seeing stuff? What are we seeing in the market? What are these patterns? What are these trends? What are these insights? And then keep us accountable, and also add your predictions as well. What do you see happening? Why don't you think, some of the things that we say may pass either? That's all good. We've got a few in there which are only going to focus on the Australian market, and then we've got one which is probably a little bit of a belief that, or a prediction that may not sit with all of you and is probably to be a little bit contentious, which we will get into. It kind of seems like it's the flavor of the month at the moment on a global level. So let's see where we go with that. As always, we want to thank you for watching. Let's get into it. Okay, so prediction number one, what we see is the narrative and dialogue around the med-rec patient. The med-rec patient is what we're going to hear about a lot. And are you already hearing about this? That's the first question. Secondly, what is the med-rec patient? Potentially the med-rec patient is simply you, is many of us at the moment, and it fits us into a bucket of going, who is a medical patient? What is a recreational patient? And I guess that probably applies to, I would say, a bit of a transitioning patient, someone that comes in just as the medical patient to start with. So it could be coming on, having a very stable oil, not having this huge rotation of flowers that we see in a recreational market, coming in, getting relief for the reason that they're coming to use cannabis, whether that's for pain, anxiety, depression, nausea, any of the reasons that they're starting to come to cannabis. Then they start to get some of the benefits. They see the changes. They may not even have any symptoms, or they may not have any disease. I know that's a big call. I'm living proof of that, right? And then it's like, well, where does this fit in? It's still a medicine, but you may now not be diagnosed, but it's part of life. You still probably don't sit over this bucket here where you've got multiple flowers on rotation the whole time, going out to get the highest percent THC. What time in the day are you starting to consume that product, particularly if you don't have symptoms? There's all these little factors which can go into who is a med patient, who is that recreational patient. But I guess what we're seeing is that over time, with progress, the lines can be blurred. And I think it's also a helpful narrative for the industry and for patients to be able to make sense of, because it explains the challenges in just putting patients into buckets. And I think not only in this case, but in most cases, life isn't black and white, right? We know that. And I think what we're going to see is dialogue and the major discourse around the med-rec patient taking a lot of attention. At the same time, what you may see, it's not like one prediction needs to be here and then, I can't go in other areas, because while we're talking about the med-rec patient, I think next what we're going to see straight up is increasing evidence. So I think 2025, a lot of the research that has been undertaken by companies like OnTracker is going to start coming out. And I think that's going to start help moving the needle in terms of the medical utility, the medical properties, and validating what many of us already know, validating what the top clinicians know around cannabis, and just in general supporting the literature and growing evidence base around cannabis. I think there's going to be more publications. I think we can expect much more evidence to come out, and I'm fairly bullish on that. I think we're going to have a big role in that. The other one that I think we're going to be able to see is minors, right? So I think we're going to see other cannabinoids come in to focus and be utilized by many more patients. And I think it also may open up avenues for a cannabis user that isn't in the market right now to be able to come in, particularly looking at other areas like preventative medicine, etc., where individuals may come in to receive some of the benefits, but not be wanting to go down a path of looking at the predominant THC products, which flood and dominate probably 90% of the market at the moment, 85% around. I'm not sure, but just a bit of a prediction, right? That's not to say that flower is going to remain king. Not to say that most of the market is going to be topped up. The 80% is going to be what we've been seeing in these continual trends. Pastels coming in as well, but high THC is it. The prediction is that we're going to start seeing, like we saw with beverages in the US a few years ago, what we're going to start to see is these minors start to eat in a little bit of market share. It's still going to be single digits. It's going to be minor to start with, excuse the pun, but it's going to be that trend where it starts to come up a little bit more. That's a very strong prediction of ours as well. I want to be held accountable for that. 2025, there's going to be a continual narrative around quality, 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 quality. We're going to have further separation between two markets in this medrec patient where everyone is focused on. And it's going to be competition at the top end, which is going to increase. And we're going to try to have clearer distinction between this is what you should be getting as a premium product, few mid-ranges, and then you're just going to, I imagine there's going to be still some questionable products that flood the market for the very price-sensitive patient that takes up a large proportion of the market, I would say. People are increasingly under stress from a range of different factors and under the pump significantly. So while there may be desires to come and add some flowers into rotation for this demographic of user that we're talking around in terms of that medrec patient, the predominantly what I see happening is you're going to have those that probably can afford the higher end flowers and the higher end products to be able to accessing them, but we're still going to see price sensitive patients come in and get whatever they can. And some of the information that I'm hearing is that it's a bit of a luck of the draw. You can really get some really good options around here, but you're not guaranteed. So you may need to deal with some issues. And then every now and then you get like a little surprise, which can be higher quality. And I guess that for the price point that you're paying, it kind of justifies why you continue to be here. And then you're going to try, you're going to see you're going to see your products. I probably think it's going to be a little bit more competitive up here through a number of different brands that are going for quality, quality, quality. So that's one other prediction that I see, and some of that is already happening. I said that there was going to be a little bit of a contentious issue. I think what we're going to see in the US is movement. I don't think it's going to stay where it is. I know there's so much discourse around this, and not at all the place to get into any of that, and don't have a clue on in terms of what is happening and everything that is currently in flux over in the States. However, I do think we are going to see this. I think it is an issue that will speak to a lot of people. And I think in terms of how it can be used, I think we're going to see movement. I don't know if that's going to be to Schedule 3 or if it's going to be descheduling. I don't know. I'm not sure as yet. But I do know it's not going to remain Schedule 1. That's the prediction. So I'm going to sit on the fence. I don't know where it's going to go after. But I don't think it stays Schedule 1. The final option is that it's again going to be like an emerging trend. So I want to hedge some of those bets. I know I made some predictions last year and they were still starting. So this is going to be an emerging trend, single digits, but we're going to see different models of cannabis start to emerge. I don't think it's only going to be the ruthless scale option that we've seen dominate the markets and result in some of the companies going under. I think there's talk that there's going to be much more consolidation this year, many more players falling, and they're all competing for this one model. I think there's space for new models, which are more focused on patient care, which are more focused on other ways of being able to monetize and keep the business going, rather than just focusing on scale and dominance and trying to own this space and get out for a quick exit. I think we're going to start seeing more niche options that come into the market and focus on retention, focus on quality services, products, and other ways to be able to really get patients and deliver care, cannabis care, which is required, which I think is hugely required and missing for a lot of patients. It definitely is out there. So there's a massive shout out to a lot of the clinics that are doing it well and to a lot of the doctors that are doing it well. So there's no doubt about that. But we do know what the space is about and how it has been. And I think that then creates a space for other players to come in and start thinking, do we need to be that big brand, or can we start looking at a more boutique option and grow that out over time, not go for scale, not try to leverage so much debt, but have a much better option of coming into the market. I think that's better for everyone as well, to have different to have different means of access. And I do strongly believe in that option coming through, even though there's a lot of concern around what's going to happen with regulation, etc. That's 6. 7's one of my favorite numbers. So I would love to see, what is your prediction? And again, tell me where I'm wrong. Give me some feedback. It's cool. Don't worry about it. This isn't, I'm here being accountable and I'm sharing with you. All you need to do at home, sit on that keyboard and let me know that wasn't right, or I do believe in this. I'm not sure what that's going to be, but I would love to fill that number 7 spot and see if there's patterns. Are other people thinking the same as you? Are we continuously going to see the rise of women and the dominance of women in the space? Are we going to see, the rise of pastels, which we've already gone into, or are we going to see complete other areas that we haven't gone into as yet? Let us know. What do you think prediction number 7 is? And we'll hold you accountable at the end of the year as well. This has been sponsored by OnTracker, provided by OnTracker and my team, and you can expect so much from us this year, starting very soon. Great to be here. Great to be putting some thoughts together. Great to be sharing the mic. Great to be alive. That's how I live in. Bye-bye.